Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well and staying safe. For this video we'll be going through an unboxing of the 1:60 scale AV-98 Ingram and Bulldog set. And this is from Patlabor, the mobile police. And this was released by Good Smile Company within their Moderoid line back in 2021. So continuing on with a bit of a bit more Patlabor, this time going back to the atypical Ingram look after the previous video of the Type 0. Now this particular kit, the Type 0, and basically all my Patlabor, is from Hobby Link Japan, so I will include a product link in the description. And in fact I actually had a quick look at it today, and there's actually a few more kits that are now listed as coming back into stock. So with a bit of luck, the Type 0 and even this kit, because it's currently not in stock, might still show up again. So keep an eye out and see how things go, because there are now 4 kits that are in stock that weren't in stock before. So with that now out of the way, here we have the front of the box of the Ingram and Bulldog set. So we have the iconic Ingram on the right side. In fact, we have 2 of them, and we have the Bulldog here. So I can only imagine that, well, based on the look of the pilot, either the Bulldog has gone crazy or the pilot has been completely flabbergasted by the Ingram, given that it looks like it is holding on to its towing cable. So who knows, maybe in the process of towing the Bulldog it has caught the pilot unaware. So that is the front of the box. These boxes tend to be generally nondescript in terms of detail, so that was pretty much the sides. The back, however, does have a bit more detailing. So 2 kits that are included, both at the 1:60 scale, the Ingram, the Bulldog. The Ingram looks like it will have a few different options, in the sense that you can have it either equipped as the TV version, I guess, the reboot, and I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a different version or if that is one of them. So that'll be interesting to see. And then down here we have pretty much the completed kits, some of the accessories included, and I suspect this will be an image of the Ingram straight out of the box. I'm kind of hoping that this is basically both of them straight out of the box, only because it would be very unfortunate if the Bulldog was just literally a single flat color. But given the size of the box, it does feel like it should cater to some different colors. So that would be definitely good to see how that one pans out. So that was the back. Back to the front. What I will do is, because I did it in the previous video, I'll open up the box, get all the runners out, and we'll have a look. I will spare the minute and a half of looking at bags because trivial detail, but I will do a count to see how many bags of runners were included in this set. And with everything now out of the box, 14 bags of runners, and surprisingly enough, just as there are 2 manuals, the runners for the Bulldog and the Ingram are completely separated. So the Bulldog will have its own dedicated runners, the Ingram has its own dedicated runners. So I guess we'll have a look at the Ingram first. So front of the manual of the Ingram, once again in that nice paper stock, having a look inside, now that I know how these manuals actually work. So we have the marking instructions front and back of the Ingram. So there's the Ingram 1 and the Ingram number 2. Now I believe it was just because I did have 2 Ingrams in the unit. And then here it looks like to differentiate between TV, reboot, I'm assuming this is the anime, is subject to what transfers you put on. The parts list, so we do have several runners. Similar to the Type 0, I have noticed there are some of these yellow markings, so I suspect, well, my guess is that the yellow ones are to be used, but I guess we'll wait and see when the time comes. Some basic instructions on how to do the assembly, and then going through the build. Now it does look like there's almost 2 different styles of head here. Yes, it actually does look like there's 2 different styles. Remains to be seen. Building the shoulders and arms, and I will admit the instructions aren't too difficult, which is good. So both the arms, there will be some slight differences between the 2. Building of the chest and the torso. It is a shame that some of these items are all still in Japanese. It would be nice to see what this is trying to reference, although I suspect it's just reinforcing orientation of the piece. After you've done the chest, do the waist and the legs, a lot of which will be in grey. Putting the external armour on, going through, I suspect we're still on a single leg. The feet, the weapons, trusty shotgun, the baton, the revolver, some different hands. I'm not sure what this is. Oh, it's an arm extension. Probably similar to what the Type 0 has. Putting everything together, and it looks like there will be a bit of a variation between the heads potentially, which possibly means Ingram 1 is probably Alphonse, and I can't remember if the second Ingram had a name. So that was the Ingram. In terms of the Bulldog, that's the front. Not a bad looking all-purpose label. General parts list. So we do have a few runners, and there will be a bit of a sticker sheet for some extra detailing, and then your basic assembly instructions. Starting with the arm, or arms. The body unit isn't overly difficult. In fact, it's basically 2 halves put together with a bit of detailing going through the legs. So the Bulldog is definitely not supposed to be the center piece kit of the set, but at least it does involve a few steps. It could be worse. It could have just been like 3 pieces being snapped together. So that was the Bulldog. So we'll put the manuals away. What I will do, however, is, well, before we start anything, transfer sheet, pretty standard, very colourful transfers. Whether I use them or not remains to be seen. And then the marking stickers for the Bulldog. Now, I guess we'll start with the Ingram. So in terms of its runners, A runner, all in white. So given that we've done the Type 0, well, if you've watched the Type 0, you'll probably feel a bit of a sense of repetition, but that's okay. So there's the A runner. B runner, still in white. So most of this is probably for legs maybe, possibly arms. Hard to say since I haven't built one yet. Onto the C runner, still in white, so I can see a little bit of head detail. We definitely have a number of hand options here, so it is quite possible C is dedicated to arm components. We have two D runners, both in white, and they are carbon copies. So I suspect this is probably components for the legs. And we have an E runner, which is the last of the runners in white before they change color. I suspect different options for shoulder pads. And there's some nice detailing there. It's nothing too heavy, but a bit of panel lining will definitely bring out some of those details. Moving on to runner F, which is going into this grey color. Now F, there's two Fs, carbon copy. So we'll be starting to move into the inner frame / joints of the Ingram. So that was F. Moving into G, which is still in the grey. So it still have joints and things like that, but we are now seeing bits of the weapons. If that is the baton, boy, that's one, good detailing, and two, very risky on the thinning of the plastic. Good effect, but definitely something to be very careful of. You'd hate to accidentally snap that. So there is the G runner. Moving to an H runner, which actually changes color into black. So there are some black items on the Ingram, and we do have one item there that is pre-painted, which I believe is the police insignia that's on the chest. Nice that they do that. Hopefully cutting it off the runner doesn't damage it too much. So that was the H runner. Moving to the I runner, going back to grey. Probably bits for the feet maybe. And then to wrap up the Ingram, we have two J runners. They are carbon copy, except one of the J's has no color. The other J does have some color. So we have on the one that's in colored, it's been pre-colored with a bit of red for the light bars, and these other two pieces do have a bit of green in them. So I suspect they will be the visors for the labor. Or more to the point, the Ingram. So those are the J's. So that wraps up the Ingram side of things. In terms of the Bulldog, so we go into its own A runner, which is in probably a golden yellow. Now this one definitely has a bit more detailing that the Ingram does not have, which is to be expected, so that'll be fun to do. It doesn't feel like it's overkill, but I say that now. Probably regret it later. So that's the A runner. We have two B runners, still in that golden yellow, and they are copies of each other. We have two C runners, still in golden yellow, and still carbon copies. So a lot of these carbon copies, you can expect them to be basically your lefts and your rights for everything. We're moving into the D runner, which has now changed color into a bit of a, feels like a very dark greenish color. Or maybe brown, I can't tell. It's one of the two. So that's the D runner. We have two E runners in that same either green or brown color. They are also still carbon copies. And then lastly, we have a F runner, small runner, which is in clear plastic. And that pretty much brings us to an end of the runners for the Bulldog. So that brings us to an end of the unboxing of the Ingram and Bulldog set. Very cool that they've actually included 2 kits within the one box, as opposed to doing it as its own standalone kit, it being the Bulldog. Obviously the Bulldog is not meant to be the showpiece of the kit, but they have gone to some effort to make it distinct enough and actually have some buildability in it. And the Ingram, being the Ingram, of course, is the centerpiece and does have a good number of runners and bits to put together. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this was from Hobby Link Japan, so I will have a link to the Moderoid Patlabor series. And as of this recording, there are 2 items on pre-order and 4 items that look to be coming back in stock soon. So of those 6 items, unfortunately, none of them is this particular Ingram Bulldog set, and none of them at this point in time were the Type 0. Although if some are coming back in stock, it's probably an indication that Good Smile Company isn't trying to discontinue and phase them out, but my recommendation would be every so often have a look. If you do wish to source it from HobbyLink, you can put it to a wish list to make it easier. Otherwise, have a look at some of the pictures and get yourself a bit of an estimate on what you can expect price wise, and I wish you luck if you look for alternative methods. Thank you for watching this video. Feel free to leave a like, a comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. All of this does help support the channel and I do greatly appreciate it. Extra shout out to my current subscribers. Thank you very much. And I hope this content is definitely keeping you entertained and amused. And if you have any suggestions or thoughts, feel free to leave them in the comments. Extra content can also be found on my Instagram account, link below. Stay safe and take care, and I will catch you all in the next video. See ya.